He won by naturally drawing the Hex Mage Depths combo, like game 1. He just happened to draw both pieces of that combo. Didn't win the match though. Oh wait, no, yeah he did, because game 2 went for so long that it went to time. So he just drew out game 2. It was against Murphle, and
it got the match.
Yeah, it was kind of grueling to watch game 2. Game 1 was over in 5-10 minutes, and game 2 just went the rest of the
duration.
The rest of the game, and I think he even had Battle of Wits and just wasn't playing it for some reason. I don't even know. I don't even want to think of that anymore. So Ben Friedman, actually local guy, guy I actually know. He's done pretty well for himself recently. He looks like he's just playing looks pretty classic Call Blade or Twin Blade.
Twin Blade deck.
List, yep.
And he's playing against
Matt Ferrando,
the Fran Dynamo himself, my boy, Matt Ferrando from New York.
And he's playing a Bant Blade list, right? Okay, and these guys, I think, are going to game 3.
Cool. Now, Matt Ferrando is somebody who, he's been on the PDQ circuit forever. Last year, I felt very bad. I drew with him in a PDQ in the last round, and we were both X1. It was a 9-round PDQ, and we were both X1, and we drew in the last round, and he came in 9th.
Oh, and that's
afterward, I had assumed that because we were both X1, we were both just locks, and I didn't even look at the standings.
Right.
And afterward, I felt very, very bad about it. Ferrando's a really good guy. He's a good player. He's been playing Bant Blade
for a long time,
before it was in style.
I mean, when I think of I know that he's been playing, the Bant Blade kind of thing. When I first heard of Bant Blade, it was attached to Matt Ferrando, so
yeah.
I've known him since he was a little kid playing locally here, and he's not that much older than a little kid, but he's at least a couple years older.
Fun fact about Matt Ferrando, he used to be an intern when I worked in an office, at my office.
Oh yeah. That's
small world.
Yeah, why not?
Matt Ferrando's list is pretty interesting here. He's only playing 12 guys. He's basically splashing green for Birds and Nature's Claim.
Why not just play Divine Offering? I mean,
he wants to kill enchantments.
Yeah, I guess so. And it's good against this, He's Splinter Twin, pretty good target for an enchantment. Then again,
hey everybody,
and
welcome.
I guess it
to
depends on how much
a little early.
Expects to see, but the Birds obviously helps him accelerate, as we saw earlier.
It's the end of an era here this morning.
Just being able to have
last
that
day of
jump on
Call Blade.
things
We're about to watch
seems pretty strong.
The top 4 of the Star City Games Open Series.
What about
here in
his
Baltimore.
sideboard? Looks
Of
like,
course, the standard.
Yeah, Thrawn in the last troll like a sideboard.
Later on this morning, and then all throughout the day.
That's pretty hard to cast for his deck, though.
The
Birds are actually pretty hard to cast in his deck, too, though. But, it's not
I'm
about
sure we're going to see our fair share of Jason's Stoneforge Mystics throughout
We
today.
saw that
Oh,
last
wait,
game.
wait.
It is.
It is.
And I'm Jacob Van Lee.
And the matchup we're going to show you guys.
This isn't.
I'm just playing. I love me Matt Ferrando.
Is Dan Sondike versus Ali Antrazi. And for those of you who may not have taken a peek at the list or maybe didn't watch yesterday, Ali has
gone to the dark side.
He's gone to the dark side and decided to play pretty much a kind of, looks like it's a Twin Blade list.
Yeah, it's a Twin Blade list. It looks different than other people's Twin Blade lists. Almost certainly designed by Ali himself.
Yeah.
A man who's known to brew. But about a week and a half ago, we heard Ali online finally saying that he was giving in.
Yeah.
From that point forward, he said as long as he was able to, he would be casting Stoneforge Mystics and Jace the Mind Sculptors. And there he is, yawning early in the morning for him also.
Turns out as long as he was able to, it was about 9 days.
Yeah. So, I mean, he gave in, and then maybe that's what caused them to ban it.
Right.
Like, oh man, Ali's even playing these things?
Yeah, it was, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Or maybe just the nail in the coffin. One of those sayings.
One or the other.
Dan, on the other hand, is playing a pretty much kind of like a classic blue-white version of Callblade. He's got the main deck of Myria Angels, which have been kind of popular recently, and then also a one of Consecrated Sphinx, card we were talking about yesterday. Love that card, and that's one I think we're going to see a lot more of.
The Consecrated Sphinx is definitely a card that will only continue to see more play as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, unless something makes it kind of irrelevant in M12 or Innistrad, which is kind of not likely. I don't know. It seems so good. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
And we're in the game here.
Things change. All right, so Ali leads off with a Celestial Colonnade, and he's going to pass the turn back over to Dan. All right, Dan leads off with a Gitaxian Probe, and Ali shows him a Mountain, a Stoneforge Mystic, an Arid Mesa, and Into the Royal, a Jace the Mind Sculptor, and is that a Gitaxian Probe also?
Or is it a Deprive? Maybe is Deprive in the list? It kind of just looks like Deprive. Oh, of course we don't have Ali's list of cards right now. There we go. Now you. So Ali, is he playing Deprive?
No.
Okay. Must be a Gitaxian Probe. For some reason, with that glare on it, it looked like Deprive. And I didn't think that was crazy coming from Ali.
Oh, definitely not. Like he's played crazier cards than that many times before. All right, so Ali's going to play that Mountain, and he's going to put a Stoneforge Mystic onto the battlefield. Now we can expect him to search of a Batterskull here.
Yep, there it is. So, first appearance of Stoneforge Mystic this morning, and one of the last here in Standard.
Yeah. It's probably the second to last Standard match I will ever cover with Stoneforge Mystics involved.
So that Mystic eats a Dismember, stranding that Batterskull in Ali's hand until he has 5 mana or another Stoneforge Mystic to cheat it into play. Neither of which are very unlikely. So Dan preordains on his turn. I don't know what he saw there. Looks like he's keeping one, bottoming the other. I think this is just land go, yeah. So, Celestial Colonnade.
Now Ali's got yet another Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, I want to say he has
So now
two
he's
in
just
hand.
going to chain them.
Yeah, so Stoneforge Mystic number 2 from Ali.
At this point, I think you just get a Sword of Feast and Famine.
Well, yeah, I think, well, yeah, I think definitely, yeah. That sword is so good.
It's interesting because a lot of the time, you're tempted to go for War and Peace before Feast and Famine.
Right.
And the Clawblade Mirror. But in this spot, and considering what his hand is, Feast and Famine lets him apply a lot more pressure.
I mean,
And to be honest, he's going to try to put the Batterskull into play before he does any of that anyway.
that sword is basically like a time walk, when you connect. It's just nuts. The pre-combat turn and then the post-combat turn. So
It's
Dan
very
untaps,
powerful.
And
Ooh,
has,
and he has
a second Dismember
Another Dismember.
for the second Stoneforge Mystic.
But he's at 10 already.
Yeah, it's
He's
it's
been
getting dangerous.
dismembering.
Double
He's getting
dismember.
dismembered.
Yeah. Shedding quite a bit of glistening oil there to to dismember Ali's creatures. Gitaxian Probe, Phyrexian. He's just half of his life total has just been Phyrexian mana.
Yeah.
Ali goes to 19 just to fetch. Fetches up the plains.
And what do you think Ali's going to play this turn? Another Stoneforge Mystic?
I mean, why not? Looks like it seems like it's done a good job so far of taking a nice chunk out of Dan's life total and replacing itself with relevant equipment. So this time it takes a mana leak from Dan, and Dan just plays Celestial Colonnade, passes to Ali. Ali goes with a Preordain? Yeah, Preordain from Ali. So is that Mountain Exarch?
Yeah, does he have a Splinter Twin in hand?
I think that's what he was checking for too. Looks like he put the Mountain on top?
Seem reasonable.
Yeah. So, plays a Mountain, passes the turn. With no blue mana up.
I'm surprised he passed there.
Yeah.
Honors. I just cast the sword.
Right. Take a mana leak if Dan chooses to use one. Or a Spell Pierce or something. Now Dan adds his first Stoneforge Mystic to the stack, and it resolves, of course. And Batterskull, target number 1 for Dan. Now we were talking yesterday. We had that question from Twitter about Grand Architect in Standard after the bannings, and noticed on our questions, the questions that we ask, like the one-shot questions on the coverage, Ali is already excited to brew with Grand Architect. So a Tech Edge takes out Ali's blue mana source, the Celestial Colonnade, and Ali is stuck with Mountain Plains, but that's enough to cast a Sword of Feast and Famine. Although, unless he draws some blue, it's going to be tough for him to dig back into the game. But he does have...
He does draw the blue there.
Yeah, Glacial Fortress. Dan is just loading up the Batterskull, I think, in the chamber. Oh, and here it goes, fires. There it is.
All right, now.
So they're going to move into combat. Ali has the opportunity, if he wants to tap down that Batterskull, but I think he just... Okay, so they're getting a germ here.
I don't know if he wants to do that, though.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that important.
He could let his opponent attack and then wait till his end step and then tap the Stoneforge Mystic with the Deceiver Exarch. And if his opponent attacks with the Stoneforge Mystic, which he does, then he doesn't even have to do anything.
Yeah.
Then he can just, Deceiver Exarch and...
Oh, 6 mana, Consecrated Sphinx. There he is.
That's an issue.
Yeah, Dan taps out for Consecrated Sphinx, and that puts Ali in a situation where he is going to basically be giving Dan 2 cards in just a few seconds, unless Dan forgets and misses that trigger, which is not likely.
Yeah, I mean, Ali could also just draw a Splinter Twin.
Yeah, and that could be game, so... Oh, wow, so he has an Into the Royal. That'll work. So we found an answer. He
that will work.
Flashes in Deceiver Exarch, untaps his Glacial Fortress, and Into the Royals the Consecrated Sphinx, giving himself a little more time before that Sphinx starts to draw Dan into just a win, pretty much.
So he's going to cast a Sword of War and Peace. Then he's going to equip his Sword of Feast and Famine.
Yeah.
Then he's going to attack. Drop Dan down to 11. And discard a card.
Maybe he'll discard the Sphinx, I think. Excuse me. And we're going to see a Myria Angel here, you think? Or what does he get? He has a Batterskull, a Myria Angel. I don't know what the third card is.
I'm not sure.
I keep seeing Batterskull and a Myria Angel, so it looks like a Batterskull.
Yes. So, Batterskull enters the battlefield for LE, and Dan draws another land. But we have to remember, Dan has that unbelievably powerful Consecrated Sphinx
in
hand.
Ali is not in a situation to deal with it now. He's tapped out. So, I mean, Ali has a decent board presence with a Batterskull and a Deceiver Exarch holding a sword, and another sword available for that Exarch or a Germ to pick up. But Dan can easily resolve a Consecrated Sphinx here and get at least 2 cards off of it. And that looks like the plan, so...
All right. Now let's see what Ali can muster up this turn. Did he find the Splinter Twin? No, he did not. He did, however, find a second blue mana, though, which also goes well with his Myria Angel.
Yeah, and the Jace in his hand. That's what it is. That was what the third card was. I forgot. So Jace can just come down and bounce that Sphinx.
Yeah, so he can equip everything onto the batter skull if he wants to.
And that germ is packing some heat there. Batter skull, Sword of Feast and Famine, Sword of War and Peace. He plays a Celestial Colonnade and swings with that germ.
I'm surprised he played that Colonnade. They didn't play it after he casts the Emerald Angel.
I guess he just wants the untap. You know, I think he's probably just going to untap into Jace and bounce the Sphinx. That would be my
That seems
guess
reasonable.
Here.
He can just force his opponent to tap out again.
Yeah. Keep putting himself in a position to get the Splinter Twin off the top and just win, yeah, with no disruption. So Dan discards an island. That germ was an 8/8, right? Plus the however many cards in Dan's hand, which was 3 at the time, as long as Ali stacked those triggers correctly. So that should have been 11 damage. So is Dan may be at 4 now, as soon as we get an update on the life totals.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah. And there's the Jace. Now Jace bounced to the Sphinx. And I think he just passed here.
Yeah. Ali has I mean, he had 3 Stoneforge Mystics.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the inevitability of that. The 3 equipment that, like, just 3 equipment were happenstance played in this game and have ended up dominating the absurdly powerful plays of the opponent, who only drew 1 of his most powerful card.
Right, not only did he have the 3 Stoneforge Mystics, but he followed it up with Jace, and Jace bouncing the Sphinx shows you why the Sphinx hasn't really, or was one of the reasons why the Sphinx hasn't really shined yet.
Yeah, you just have to keep tapping out for it.
Yeah, but interestingly, that Sphinx actually represented 2 more damage when Ali hit with the Sword of War and Peace. So, you know, I don't know that that's going to be relevant because of how big that germ is right now, but, you know, if Dan wins the game or if Dan loses the game just barely, it's interesting how the Sphinx's card draw effect actually may have hurt him.
This is interesting. So Ali can simply bounce the Sphinx and kill his opponent, I believe.
Seems that way. He's got 1 untapped, yeah. So Sphinx draws him into a couple more cards during Ali's draw step.
And here comes Batterskull. Right down Batterskull way.
Yeah. So Ali takes game 1 in the battle of the blades here. Twin Blade versus Call Blade, and in this case, it was just Call Blade versus Call Blade, really. I mean, it wasn't. There was no appearance of a Splinter Twin, just an Exarch, which was
Hey, it was pretty
relevant.
tight. Well, I mean, he saved Ali from Ali's own mana base.
Yeah. Then again, he did have. I mean, if he didn't flash in the Exarch, he could have just into the Royal. You know, instead he's got to play 2 spells, but.
But that let him untap and then Feast and Famine.
Feast and Famine on the Exarch, right? So maybe Callblade should just have been running Deceiver Exarch in the Squadron Hawk spot all along. No, I don't know.
Who knows?
We will never know.
We will never know.
It's like that Tootsie Roll commercial. The world may never know. So we're going to be giving away 6 months of premium.
Ooh, 6 months.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is. It's about half a year.
Yeah, I mean, think about how much changes in 6 months.
I don't think 6 months ago.
6 months ago.
What is that?
Yeah, exactly. 6 months ago, it was so cold outside. Like, global warming has really gotten intense.
Yeah, it really
like,
has.
it's gotten, like, at least 50 degrees.
40, 50
yeah,
degrees
40,
colder.
50 degrees warmer.
Yeah,
in 6
warmer,
months.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
colder. Now it's
At
warmer.
this rate, in, like, another 8 months,
It's gonna be like,
everything's just going to be on fire. It's
120,
ridiculous.
130 degrees.
You know, if it always increases exponentially,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how this is going to work out. Not for us.
Yeah,
Not for us.
Well, at least you'll be able to read some Star City Premium while you melt.
That's true. You can always read Star City Premium while you're melting. But we have a trivia question for you guys, and the first person to answer this trivia question, and remember, you should Twitter this at SCG Live, hashtag SCG Premium, then include your Star City Games username, and the answer to the trivia question. Now, the trivia question for 6 months of free premium is how many Jace the Mind Sculptors are in the top 8 of this tournament?
That was, if you didn't have a question, that's the exact question I was going to ask, though.
Seems like a pretty good
I
question.
think we mentioned it yesterday, so it's good reason that we're both thinking along those lines. I think the next trivia question should be, what was the trivia question yesterday?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, what was the answer to the trivia question we asked during the quarterfinals?
The best trivia question I've heard so far was Gerard asked, "What city are we casting from right now? Where am I? I don't know where I am." And before he did it, he had Rashad cover up the city that we were in on the screen.
That's awesome.
Pretty funny.
I mean, not as great of a question, but it was interesting to see some of the answers. I think Chapin and I asked something about how many copies of Mental Misstep in the top 8 of like the Legacy thing, and somebody answered like Force of Will. Just like, what?
It's not a quantity.
Yeah. We didn't even ask what was like the most common card in the top 8. It was just like, real. Wait. Exactly. Yeah. It was a number between 1 and 32. Force of Will was the answer. So, looking at sideboard in here while we have a minute before the players actually get started. Well, Divine Offering seems.
Yeah, I think Divine Offering's also coming in for Ollie.
Yeah.
Ollie also has some Consecrated Sphinx of his own.
We'll see.
So Ollie is definitely not bringing in Purge. He's probably not bringing in the extra. No, he probably brings in the extra copy of Batterskull.
Yeah, I mean, seems like a good card.
So he's got a Batterskull, he's got a Jace, Bellerin, and he has 3 Divine Offering. And if he wants to, he can sign in Consecrated Sphinx.
Yeah, Dan, on the other hand, has, I believe, just Dismember, 2 Divine Offerings. I mean, do you really want anything else?
I don't think so.
He's got Condemn, Oust, Flash Freeze, Celestial Purge, Day of Judgment, and Mental Misstep. None of those seem particularly attractive. You know, Mental Misstep doesn't really counter anything but what? Preordain?
And Spell Pierce and Dispel.
And Spell Pierce and Dispel, yeah. That is...
You'd be surprised how good it is to Mental Missteps people's preordains.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I don't know if that's
I wouldn't side it in. I agree with you.
It's just one copy as well. I mean, and basically, unless he just has something in the main deck that is just not as good as a one of Mental Misstep, you know, which I don't think is likely. These lists are pretty tight as it is.
Players shuffling up for game 2. Winner of this player will make it to the finals of the Star City Games Standard Open here in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm Jacob Van Lunen. I'm here with Joey Pasco, and we're about to watch some Twin Blade versus Caw-Blade.
Yeah, it's the final countdown here.
Now Ali hasn't lost a match in this tournament yet.
Oh wow!
He started out 8-0, drew twice to make the top 8, and then won his first round in the top 8 to be here in the top 4. So it's a pretty good run. You know, he's somebody who never really loses. He's so good at Magic, and he's normally playing like the most odd decks. And we haven't really seen him winning much lately, but
it's just
in the past week, you know, he's switched to the Jace and Stoneforge Mystic,
yeah,
and I feel like that changed everything for this week.
It changed that he's a really good player, and his handicap, which can also be maybe his strength, is that he brews a lot. You know what I mean? And it's like maybe he brews the wrong deck, you know, for that tournament, but eventually he's going to hit again, just like he did with you know, this time last year with Turboland. And you know, at this point, he picks up the best deck in Standard, and here he is in the semifinals, a game up against his opponent, Dan Sondike. So, absolutely, I'm really excited to see what he does, because this is where players like him shine. You know, in a new format, right? And he's definitely on the Grand Architect train, at least at first, from what I can.
I'd like to cast Jin to the Taxis in Standard.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. So Ali going to Paris.
Ali's deck is not as immune to mulligans as a normal Caw-Blade deck. Of course, all he has to do is draw a Stoneforge Mystic, and it's like he actually started out with a 10-card hand, even though he mulliganed to 6.
Yeah.
It's a strange world we live in.
It really is. I mean, they talk about decks that mulligan well, and it's like, what deck mulligans better
than blue-white Caw-Blade?
Caw-Blade, yeah.
Oh, nothing. Nothing ever has. You can very easily go to 4 cards
Yeah.
and have no issue at all putting together a win.
Kind of getting,
I heard, so a good friend of mine, Brad, he was talking to me on the phone one day, and he was saying, previous to the existence of Caw-Blade, I feel like I never won a sanctioned match before where I mulliganed to 4. Online or in person. Said, post Caw-Blade,
all the time.
just constantly winning them.
Every match, every game. Why not?
And obviously he has won some games, and I'm all the 4 before that, but,
So Ali follows up then Sea-Chrome Coast with an island and a preordain. And I know he saw Jace and something else. And it looks like he's just reordering them. Jaws up the top, and it was Scalding Time. So Dan has the turn to Stoneforge Mystic.
and this hand looks like it's chock full of counter magic. So if Ali can't, muster up a removal spell right away for the Stoneforge Mystic, he may be in a world of trouble where Dan just leans back and plays a reactive game while bashing with Batterskull over and over again.
Yeah, and all I can tell is in Ollie's hand looks like at least two fetch lands, possibly 3.
That's interesting that he chose to keep the land on top.
Yeah, I mean,
if that's true.
Yeah, so there's the Jace. I mean, I guess it didn't matter that much because he was just going to draw. Yeah, but I mean, why not bottom that fetch land? Yeah, I don't know. So, cracks an Arid Mesa for Plains. We need John Avon to do more full art.
Yeah, more full art lands, please. Those are nice looking lands there. Are those unhinged?
Yeah. So into the Royal for the Stoneforge Mystic, and that'll help slow Dan down a little bit.
Dan also has some interesting islands. Are those Tempest or Mirage?
I thought they were
Saga?
Saga, yeah. I was trying to picture the.
Are they Saga?
Pretty sure they're Saga. I'm almost
Yeah,
positive
I
they're
can
Saga.
kind of see
actually.
the 2 cogs.
That's a friend of mine's favorite island. I know he was trading for them. And, I was trying to look through my stuff. I'm pretty sure it was Saga. So, Batterskull. Is that Batterskull number 2 then for Dan? He did get a Batterskull with the first Stoneforge, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Caw-Blade Mirror.
Yeah, I mean...
Especially games 2 and 3, your opponent brings in Divine Offerings, you really want access to just Batterskulls. Because all you have to do is lean on your reactive cards, and you will win.
Neither of these guys rock the Inkmoth Nexus backup plan to all that lifelink, but Ollie's got a pretty decent backup plan for lifelink in the Splinter Twin Deceiver Exarch combo. So Ollie plays a Scalding Tarn into an island and has a Jace Bellerin, that's a Japanese, or the Jace versus Chandra, yeah, the manga Jace. But that gets spell
It's a good
pierced.
looking Jace.
Yeah. I think it was kind of cool for Wizards to do that. Dan follows up his spell pierce on Ollie's Jace Bellerin with his own Jace the Mind Sculptor. So Dan's side of the board banned in a week.
Yes.
Ollie's side of the board completely legal.
And we can see why it's banned.
Yeah.
The things he is doing right now are not fair.
I don't know. Magic's
Does
all
Ali
about
look
playing
like it's-
unfairly, right?
I guess that's true.
It's like trying to do the most
I play a lot of
unfair
combo.
things.
I shouldn't talk about unfair.
Exactly.
Shouldn't talk about unfair that way. Me and unfair, we go way back.
We are taking registration for both the
So,
Legacy and Draft Opens
He
this
vindicates the
morning.
Jace.
Yep.
Both are $30. The Draft Open will be firing at 9 o'clock. Also, we have a player up here who is looking for a blasting station in the hopes of playing some wacky artifact-based combo in Legacy today. If you happen to have a blasting station, perhaps in your EDH deck, if you would be willing to run it, please come to the stage.
Ricky making an announcement for someone looking for a blasting station.
I appreciate that.
I'm sure the player does too. I mean, he needs to make that announcement when there are more than like 18 people in the room, but I certainly didn't bring my EDH deck. I don't have an EDH deck, but you know, if I had one, I wouldn't have brought it. So,
I thought the
Dan-
blasting station was just the name of the train station in Baltimore.
Yeah, he's
I didn't-
looking for blasting station. Doesn't even know how to get there.
All right.
So, second
Ooh,
Stoneforge
another
Mystic.
Stoneforge
from Dan.
Mystic. Dan has successfully resolved 2 Stoneforge Mystics. Well, one of which he got to resolve twice, while Ali has yet to play a single copy.
So he must have put one of those batter skulls back with the Jace. I was like, that's the third batter skull. I didn't realize he had 3. Oh, that's right, he had Jace a second ago. So
And that's another nice little trick. Once you already have equipment that you don't need the excess equipment you're getting with your Stoneforge Mystic, you can just put it back with your Jace, and then as you recast your Stoneforge Mystic,
Yep.
you're just netting
just
cards.
draw a card, yeah. So Ali has a Scalding Tarn to add to the board, but looks like nothing else. So he passes into Dan's double Stoneforge Mystic. Plenty of open mana. I mean, we really could just see Batter Skull here, couldn't we? I mean, potentially.
I'm surprised Dan didn't.
Batter Skull
End of turn.
End of turn, yeah. So he passes back to Ali, and Ali appears to have a Jace. Yeah, there's a Jace the Mind Sculptor
Ooh.
of his own, with 2 mana conveniently up in case of more Spell Pierce shenanigans from Dan. But Dan decides to go with accidentally put Batterskull on the board, but has a mana leak for Jace the Mind Sculptor. And now,
He didn't give up any information with that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was just, I thought he was just viling in Batterskull.
That's what I thought also. I thought he just tapping a guy and dropping into play.
So, Batterskull looks like it's going to eat the Divine Offering that Ali was sandbagging there. And,
Ooh, no, he has
not at
the
all.
Spell Pierce.
Dan has a Spell Pierce. Dan, the man with all the answers in this game. So now, Ali completely tapped out with nothing on board other than lands. Dan with 2 Stoneforge Mystics and a fresh Batterskull, or a Germ holding a Batterskull, and now 6 up to 7 mana to play with here. So it looks like he's just getting in with the Germ and Stoneforge Mystic. One of the Stoneforge Mystics doing a nice little Squire impression.
Now, this is going to put Ali has 2 more turns before he dies.
Yeah, Ollie's in pretty big trouble here because the first Jace he played was just a Vindicate. The second Jace he played, yeah, well, Consecrated Sphinx might help. But Dan has plenty of mana. He's viling in Batterskull and appears to be casting another bit of counter magic here.
Maybe it's a blasting station?
I don't think it's a blast. If it is, it's good for Ali
Yeah.
for a number of reasons.
I'm thinking about him with Tendalion. But in all seriousness,
Oh.
double Dismember.
Double Dismember on a Consecrated Sphinx. Wow.
And that's
Was that
brutal.
8 life? Did he just pay 8 life? Yeah, he did. Had to.
Yeah.
And Ali says, I
Like
can't.
conceits. Yeah.
I
That's all you
can't
can
fight
do.
through. He had an answer for everything Ali played. Ali goes for Jace Bellerin, and that gets spell pierced. Jace the Mind Sculptors just vindicate. Second Jace gets mana leaked. Consecrated Sphinx gets double dismember. Like, Dan just had all the right answers at all the right times in that game.
Yeah, when looking at Dan's opening hand, it was very hard to imagine a scenario in which he lost. He had the Stoneforge Mystic he needed, and then he just had tons of blue cards.
Yeah.
And when you're up against that type of hand, when it's on the play, it's always very, very bad for you.
But Ali gets a chance to take this match. He's on the play here.
Yeah, being on the play is very important, especially in a matchup like this.
So, do you think Ali boarded out his spell pierces and now is finding a way to make them work them back into the deck?
I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, it's definitely going to help him fight a Jace War.
Do you think he brings in Lightning Bolt?
I was
for the
actually
Stoneforge
wondering
Mystics?
whether or not he brings the Lightning Bolt myself. I know for certain that Jerry was not siding out both of his Lightning Bolts. I think he might have been siding out one in the mirror, the Twin Blade mirror.
I mean, it seems like it's the removal spell for a Stoneforge Mystic. It also hits a Myria Angel. Double Bolt, obviously. He's only got 2 there, but can kill a Consecrated Sphinx. And obviously
it seems like
hits
could
Hawks.
be.
That's always the least attractive one to hit, I think, the Squadron Hawks. But if you need to hit it in response to an equip, it's just the 1 mana answer.
Yeah, Ali doesn't have a lot of room to play around the sideboard space here, but
Right.
the spell's kind of a funny card.
Yeah. It
Very,
is.
very narrow,
It's
but
definitely
a great deal of value.
Absolutely, it's really good in the Splinter Twin decks because of its ability to protect your combo. Because really, they have to interact with you at instant speed when you're playing. When you've got that combo, they can only interact with that combo at instant speed, and the spell is the perfect foil for that. The problem is when they go, turn 1 discard spell or something, and you've got the 2 combo pieces in hand, that the spell is not very attractive.
Yeah, there are a few matches where the spells will sit in your hand as dead cards. Luckily, Jace the Mind Sculptor lets you play cards that will occasionally be dead.
Yeah.
You simply put them back on the top of your library, and then crack a fetch land or play a Stoneforge Mystic, and then you get other cards. Nice rebuys. Now, looking at Ali's sideboard, so if he brought in the Sphinxes, do we think he maybe took out the Ameri Angels? That would seem really awkward here.
Yeah, I mean,
Because that card seems great here.
right. So that doesn't seem.
I'm just trying to think about what he could have taken
Is
out.
there a chance he took out the combo just to make his deck into more of a Call Blade? Make this match really into even more of a Call Blade mirror. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday with some other players, potentially siding out either the Splinter Twin, the twin half of the deck, or the Blade half of the deck. And it's
Seems
interesting kind of
very difficult to choose which you...
put your shirt back on.
Wow. I got like ninja'd there. It's like...
I'm gonna catch him with a shirt off.
You guys don't know what goes on while we're commentating the games, you know?
We're pretty good at commentating while doing other things. Wait. No, anyway.
Like this is a human costume. I'm actually a dinosaur. Luckily, I was able to get the human suit on before.
Oh, it was just that one arm is the dinosaur, right? Like
What, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mimeoplasm. Haven't you seen the art on mimeoplasm? That's that one.
I have seen the art of mimeoplasm.
And one arm is a dinosaur. It's just like a T-Rex. It's like not the T-Rex's arm, but a T-Rex's head.
A T-Rex itself.
Yeah.
Like one of those things you buy like at a boardwalk when you're a kid, where you squeeze the
Kind
thing
of,
and it
except
like
it's bigger,
closes
and
them
I
out.
think the hand is just literally a T-Rex's head. So I guess you're just like, I need to grab my
So you
soda
can like
and
pick
you
up
just-
things. You just
Yeah.
use the T-Rex head.
T-Rex's teeth.
It's like,
yeah.
oh man, now I'm getting my soda all over myself.
Yeah,
This was a
should not
disaster.
have squeezed so hard.
Maybe I shouldn't have used my T-Rex arm for this
My sharp
activity.
T-Rex teeth. Well, for those of you just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco in the booth here with Jacob Van Lunen. We are watching the top 4